Welcome to Red Zone Sports. We got week 9. I just want to offer my condolences and rest in peace to Josh McDaniels, Brad Ziegler, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Matthew Perry. We lost 4 incredible people this week. Actually, 1 incredible person. The other 3, I just don't know right now. That's to be determined. As a Raider fan, I'm elated. I'm sure there's a lot of depressed people. Jimmy, I know you had some really close thoughts on Mr. Perry. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about some DFS. But
Matthew Perry, one of the greats, definitely a sleeper, kind of actor out there in the acting world. I like some of the things he's done outside of Friends quite a bit, maybe more than Friends. Whole 9 yards. Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. It's a 1-season show. If you've never watched it, go watch it. It's really good. It's not like a stupid slapstick. It's a good show. You'll like it.
Was he the one that did that weird movie about all the big spiders, or was that the other guy?
Arachnophobia?
No.
Big scary spider, big crazy 8 crazy legs or something?
Yes.
No, it's definitely not him.
No,
I'm pretty sure that was like Steve Zahn or something.
That was Steve Zahn.
No, it was the other guy.
What a pull.
Definitely Steve Zahn movie.
8-Legged Freaks.
Steve Zahn.
David Arquette. Yeah.
There you go.
He was banging the other person on Friends, Monica, which is Courtney Cox. Got it. Okay, let's talking RAPs. Let's move on to week 9. I don't know, guys. I'm starting to I'm feeling it. I know my players. I know my teams. I know what people are capable of. I know what ceilings. I know the floors. We're in that midpoint of the season where we've been shown enough where I feel confident, where we're not just taking dart throws. I feel very confident what these players do and what they're capable of. But let's start with you guys. What are your guys' thoughts this week? Any interesting plays that you're looking at, or games, or what's the slate look like?
I've got a good take. I'll let Jim go first.
Well, I think there's a handful of quarterbacks that are going to be starting NFL games this week that I don't think would start for USC, Alabama, any of the big Power 5 powerhouses. I mean, we have some real shit bombs this week. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, you start to look at the guys who are starting this week, and it's just like, I mean, there's a guy that we could have played, Vinny, while we were at Menlo, who's starting in the fucking NFL this week. So
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting week. I think it presents a lot of interesting opportunities. And I think there's some guys who, on a normal week with really good, specifically quarterbacks on the slate, that you probably wouldn't even think to play. But this week, you're going to probably just have to plug your nose and play them. So I'm excited. I like slates like this because just like Joey said, we're kind of at the midway point where I understand what players are capable of. I've learned what offenses are going to do, and I think that I have a pretty good lean on where I'm going. So yeah, I'm excited for this week.
Yeah, I absolutely love this slate. Dig it in, because I think for the first time hearing it on another show, it was so true. There's a lot of very clear chalk, and I think there's a lot of opportunity if you're willing to go get a little bit different off of that.
Yeah,
we're willing to get dirty.
Yeah, I mean, it's very obvious that Cowboys-Eagles game, which we'll get to, is going to be very chalky. Some of the guys in there, and I think if you're willing to get a little bit bold, there's very clear paths to get off of that. And some games that I really like that I think are going to be pretty low owned across the board. So it's going to be one of those weeks I feel really confident about, but we'll find out on Sunday. Either we're going to win big, or I may be chasing all day. So
yeah, I mean, we only got 10 games on the slate here, boys. It's a smaller slate. I like smaller slates. Last week, we had 14 games. I did pretty well. I had some pretty nuke lineups. I got 200 points on one. I had a 4X lineup for the first time this year. I was really proud of. Didn't quite get there at the top. I was probably 1 touchdown and a couple catches away from taking down a giant room. But, hey, we're trending in the right direction. So let's start with quarterbacks. We're at the top here. We only got two guys in the 8K range. We got Lamar Jackson and Hurts. Are you guys playing either of these guys? And what's your feeling here?
Vinny, Mr. I love 45 quarterbacks. I'll let you go first.
There's only 20 quarterbacks to pick from this week, so that narrows it down for Vin.
Okay, so Vin's got 11 in his pool.
Yeah, I mean, mine's pretty clear. I do like both of these guys up at 8K, but it's like I have no interest until I get. I'm paying up or I'm going way down this week, and I have reasons why. But I think if I'm going up, if I had to choose, I'm gonna go Jalen Hurts and eat the chalk. He's just been better consistently for Philly. I think this is a matchup too where Dallas is gonna push him. You'd like to think. Philly at home, afternoon primetime game. Hurts hasn't had less than like 23 points in a game like almost all year long. So he's the safest floor on here for me. So I like Jalen Hurts quite a bit if I'm paying up.
Jim,
I guess above 6,000 is our high end.
Yeah, let's just go up here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I was like, it's less today, right? So it's like we'll just knock out these two guys over 8K, and then we can go 7K down. All right, Jim, are you playing Hurts or Jackson?
I'm playing Jackson and maybe a little Hurts. But if I'm playing Hurts, then I'm doing a full game stack. So there'll be at least 3 guys from Philadelphia and 2 from Dallas in those lineups. I just think that, with chalkier builds like that, and if you think that that's going to be the game, then why would you just not go all in on that game? Because a lot of people are not going to, right?
Yeah.
Lamar, I'm fine with playing him. He has a very concentrated offense right now. There's 2 guys that I want to play with Lamar with, so those are my reasons for playing those guys.
And real quick, Jim, just on that point, like I do think Dak's playable if you're going to go the full game stack route.
So that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So going down, I'm back to Dak, and I hope you guys listened to me and played CD Lamb last week because he absolutely annihilated it.
That was my 4X lineup.
100%. Going right back there. His price has gone up. People are going to go away from him. You can play Dak in that game stack, just like Vinny was just talking about, and right off the bat, you're saving $1,500. You can play whatever pieces you want to. Philadelphia's pass defense is terrible. They have a great run defense, fantastic run defense. Jalen Carter's back this week. Their run defense is really, really good. If you want to play somebody else with Lamb, you can. I don't think you need to. But that is Dak, and that Dak and Lamb combo might be my highest owned 2 players of the entire slate this week.
I like it.
Love it.
All right, Joe, would you have any interest in either of like these guys, Dak and above?
No, I'm just an absolute psycho this week. I'm going for those guys we were talking about early, where you're willing to get dirty with them. That's what I'm going with this week.
My main guy is back, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'll say about this game, and again, it's going to be the biggest chalk on the slate, is like both of these defenses are really good, right? So like, yes, this game could for sure nuke out, but like, I don't think it's like a high probability of that. You know what I mean? I just don't see like, I think it can, but I would not be shocked if this game's like 21-17 with like 5 minutes left. Like it's just going to be a good game. I think both these defenses are legit. Yeah. So I think what I'm getting at is there's paths to get outside of this to grab pieces if you want, which we're going to get to here. I like some of these games a lot, but
all right. Jim, so going down.
Let's get dirty. 6K below.
All right, Joe, you haven't talked about anybody. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would say I really like Raider quarterback Aiden O'Connell this week.
Guy goes all the way down.
He looked really good in the preseason. He is willing to take chances. You're going to see a brand new Raiders offense this week that has 0 game tape on it. Where, look, head coach fired. He recalled all the plays. Offensive coordinator that even knew about those play callings fired. They're going to take shots this week. The whole Raider mentality this week is literally like, no, we're just going to go full send. We're done with this conservative shit, and we're going to go for it. Aiden O'Connell is going to throw interceptions this week, but that's not what I'm concerned about. I think he is going to give Devontae a 15-plus catch game. And he's just really they're going to throw the ball 45 plus times, and they're just going to go full send. So I like O'Connell this week. He's got the strong arm. He's gutsy. He's not scared yet. Jimmy, obviously, in that behind that offensive line, he had happy feet at the end there the last couple of weeks, and he was just like, "Look, I've already have a back injury, already broken. I already had a concussion. Like he's just getting destroyed." This kid, O'Connell's 22 years old. He's not scared. He's going to take shots, and we're going to get possibly a 3-touchdown, 2-pick game and a plus 300 game. And at this price tag, sign me up for that. Because guys, he's playing the Giants. The New York Giants are a really bad team, and the Raiders still have 3 wins. And they blew everything up because the things aren't going the right way. So Aiden O'Connell, I would say, is probably my favorite guy this week. And there's definitely some bias in there. But you know what?
Yeah,
Fuck it.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the main guy that you hate the most, and that's Derek Carr. Because these are the kind of games that Derek Carr has built his career on. Gets bad teams where he can load up on the box.
He went off last week, man.
He's had 3 straight pretty good weeks. I know when you watch him play, it makes you kind of want to vomit in your mouth at points. 3 straight games over 300 yards, throwing a touchdown in each of them. Now he gets the worst defense of all 3 of those going into this home matchup. Dude, this is a game that Derek Carr is going to go off in. He always does in these. So I'm in.
Yeah, this is what makes franchises sign them to extensions of these kind of games. You're not wrong.
So my 2 favorite guys. I like Carr too. So I'm just going to mention 2 guys. Number 1 is Daniel Jones. He's back. You don't have to play him with anybody. You could just play Daniel Jones. And if you really need someone cheap, play him with Daniel Bellinger. Because what can the Raiders still not cover? Tight ends. What does Daniel Jones like to throw the ball to? Tight ends. It's not my fault that, we're missing out on maybe one of the best revenge narrative opportunities because Darren Waller's heroin hamstrings just keep popping all over the place. Joey, that's one of the best. That's one of the best. That's one of the best sayings I've heard in a long time.
Saying it for 2 years.
But my other favorite guy, and I know for a fact, I don't know if I've ever mentioned me wanting to play this guy on the podcast.
Ooh, all right.
But it's Mac Jones.
Oh, you know what? I thought about it.
Listen,
so that's not the craziest.
So listen, he's playing Washington at home. Okay. The Commanders just traded their 2 best pass rushers. They were bottom quarter in the league in pressure on the quarterback to begin with. Now they've given up. They don't have Chase and they don't have Sweat. They are an absolute travesty of a defense. They're playing in New England. And Mac Jones, my 2 favorite stacking options with Mac Jones are Ramondre Stevenson and Hunter Henry. That is one of the cheapest 3-person stacks I have seen in such a long time. And you can literally play anybody else. You can play Kamara, Adams, whoever you want to in that lineup if you play that.
Yeah. So I have some interest in the receiving options, and I looked at that for those very same reasons. To your point, I built a lineup earlier where you could go like Mac, Juju, as gross as that sounds. He's going to be the starting receiver.
I don't want to play any pass catchers on. The only one that I have some interest in is Demario Douglas. Everybody else, just play Ramondre or Hunter Henry, and I could care less.
All right. But my point being is you could easily just get A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb from that game that we talked about, the Eagles, with that stack and still have significant money left over. Like, you don't have to play the quarterbacks from that game. So, it's not the craziest thing you've ever said. It's crazy.
Look, we have
not the craziest.
This is my favorite week ever for quarterbacks, guys, because this is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to talk about 2 quarterbacks here because I really believe they're the same person, and it's Gardner Minshew and Taylor Heineke. And
Minshew is my other favorite.
Okay, yeah, I have
they're
Minshew
the
as well.
ultimate fuck it guys, right? They're going to run the ball. They're going to go heads with linebackers. They're going to make risky throws. They're going to piss you off throughout the game. And the next thing you know, they're still getting you 4X, right? Because they score touchdowns. Because they're willing to take shots. Minshew kind of, I mean, he definitely fucked it up last week, right? I mean, I definitely had some shares of Minshew. And he still didn't do, I mean, like fantasy-wise, he didn't do terrible. He still got 3X, right? He didn't get the upside we were looking for, but he made some really bad decisions. Heineke came in last week and he did exactly what he did for the Redskins last year. He goes in there and it's just full fuck it mode. He's going to send it. Like, I can actually see some Drake London deep balls this week for once, right? I can see Bijan Robinson getting a lot of catches.
I hope
getting involved in the offense.
I hope London plays.
Yeah. But like Heineke just like he provides that weird, and Minshew, they just provide that weirdness, that chaos effect. And I'm all in on the chaos effect of a quarterback that costs $5K.
My biggest concern with Heineke is their loser head coach, Arthur Smith.
Yeah,
like I think there's a concern that they just may go back to trying to run the ball 45 times. Like, I would rather play Minshew. I like Minshew. Mm-hmm. Minshew at home seems to put up precipitously better stats than he does on the road.
Hey, don't use big words.
So it's not that big of a word. Let's take it easy here. So out of those two, Joey, I prefer Minshew.
Hey, like I'm with it, but like Heineke was in the same kind of situation last year with Washington, right? Just shitty coaching, and when he was in the game, it all changed, right? He makes people look better because he's willing to take those shots, and that it pisses the coaches off like crazy because they want him to be conservative, don't turn the ball over, and he really doesn't give a fuck because he knows he's got this one shot.
It's true.
So it's both of them, right? I like both of them. They both sit very similar to me. You have a $200 price savings, but at $5K here, you're looking for 20 points. It's way more than realistic. In both these teams they're playing, you got the Vikings, you got the Panthers, and they're both awful. So,
all right, that's all I got for quarterback. My core is going to be pretty tight this week.
Same. The only other guy that I have mentioned, because I'm not playing Heineke because of Jim's fears, so I have less quarterbacks than you guys. What are you talking about? I
only got 3.
I think the one game that is sneaky for me that could shoot out this week is that Bucs-Texans game. So I have some interest in Baker this week. And I have no data that's going to support this. I kept trying to find it. But I think
there's no algorithm.
But I think this can be that game that we see Mike Evans break a slate. He does it once a year. The Texans are nothing special on defense. If this game gets up and going, I think you could see multiple touchdown game from Mike Evans at like 2% ownership.
Yeah, because that Bucs run game is so atrocious.
Texans are going back home where Stroud's more comfortable. He's played better at home this year. Both teams are nothing special in the pass defense game. I just like this game. I don't know why. I'm just kind of gravitating towards it. So I'm going to take some shots on Baker and Evans for sure.
Big time gut play. I love it. We'll end on the gut play. Commercial break. Just kidding, guys. Moving on to running backs. All right, Vinny, let's lead off on the high end. Let's go 6,500 or 6,400 and up. Jonathan Taylor up. Where are you leaning and why?
So my favorite running back on the slate this week is Saquon Barkley. No one's talking about him. I know Jim likes Danny Dimes here, but Kamara is going to be the obvious chalk. Rightfully so. He's been fantastic lately. But I just don't know if they're going to need to lean on him quite as much in this matchup. He still is going to probably have a really good game because Chicago is terrible. But I think this you were onto something a little bit, Joe. I think the Giants-Raider game is a little bit more like competitive. So I just think Saquon's going to be more involved. I just think at that price point, I think they're going to need him for a full 4 quarters trying to win games versus, and they're not in tank mode or anything, both of these teams. So, yeah, I just don't know if I get like that ceiling game out of Kamara this week. I obviously like him.
See, and shares, I think this is like Kamara's been going off, right? So like,
he's been amazing.
21, 19, 17, 29, 27. He's going off, right? Last week was the first time that Derek Carr was actually sending the ball downfield and being successful. Where if the Bears look at that tape and they go, hey, we need to make sure we actually defend against that and let's make them throw it short, we can look at another 12-plus catch Kamara game here very easily.
Yeah, but like how are the Bears going to do that? They don't have anyone that can stop it.
No, what I mean is they're just going to drop 8 into coverage, and then they're just going to make Derek Carr dump it off all game, and Kamara gets 12, 15 catches like he was in the first 4 weeks of the season.
I'm on board with Joey. I mean, Vinny, Saquon Barkley is going to be 19-20% out.
He's still going to be less than Kamara.
Kamara's 22.
And the Raiders defense is the only shining light of the entire team this year.
Look.
But you know what I'm saying, though? Like, I'm afraid that, like, this game could be an absolute, like, complete blowout, right? Like, this game could be over midway through the third.
Well, here's the biggest problem that I have with Saquon Barkley. I don't know if he can get to the type of ceiling that Kamara can get to, because I don't know if the team is going to be able to move the ball to score touchdowns.
But you like Daniel Jones for the same reason, that he's, like, an insanely consolidated offense in a game that, like, Daniel are great.
Daniel Jones is $4,900.
I get that, but then it's like you still need him to put up points, right? And, like, the one thing that I love about that play, and the reason I like Saquon, is, like, we talk about the Giants' offensive line is absolutely terrible, right? So for the same reasons that we discussed, like, Kamara could get a ton of catches, like, this is the same kind of matchup where Max Crosby's going to be on his ass, a lot this game, right? So I don't know. I mean, again, I don't think you can go wrong here. I like Saquon a lot. I like both these guys, obviously.
So they're both going to be chalky. I think Kamara is good chalk, and I think Barkley's bad chalk.
Interesting. Okay.
And Barkley is, like, likely, unless I do a game stack of that game, I won't play Barkley.
Okay.
Like, I would rather play Josh Jacobs at the same ownership in that game. At 7,900, he's got to get to 32 points to just get to 4x.
Exactly.
And
Saquon is the master of a soft tissue injury that pulls him out of the game or hinders him. Like, he's always having some kind of minor injury that's taken him out of the game for some amount of time. Kamara is just not that guy.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever, Kamara's, like, not splitting shares with anyone. He's all in the field.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Time. So this is what we've been waiting for Kamara.
Barkley had 3 catches for 0 yards last week.
I get it. I mean, dude, you're playing quarterbacks who are, like, literally
Kamara had 4 for 51.
What's that?
Kamara had 4 for 51.
Well, he was in a real offense last week.
He's still current.
Vinny, but that's what I mean. The Giants
don't
have a real offense.
I get it.
The Giants don't have a real offense.
All I'm saying is, like, my theory in some of these games. Again, I'm not fading Kamara, but, like, I like the Derek Carr stacks, and I think they're going to be absolutely thrown at downfield, and that's just a way that I'm getting.
But look, if you're going with Carr, I think you line up Kamara with Carr.
You definitely can,
right?
100%. Like I said, I'm not fading the guy. I'm just saying I like Saquon a lot this week.
I'm saying I am fading Saquon because he's too much money to pay. I would rather just pay the $200. If Saquon was going to be 6 or 8% owned, be completely different story.
Sure.
But they're within 2 to 3% of ownership of each other. I'll just take the guy that I know is going to get better opportunity in the passing game.
Okay,
great.
That's fair.
All right, guys, let's stay between here 6,100 and 7K. We got a few options. Let's go top down. Kenneth Walker, Jacobs, Pollard, Swift, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, and Bijan Robinson. Is there anyone here that's sticking out to you guys?
There's 2 guys for me, and one is, like, he might only have, like, 3 points, but he also might have 30, and that's Aaron Jones. I would like the Aaron Jones risk a lot more if Matthew Stafford was playing and the Rams could, like, kind of keep pace. But, like, we talk about a shitty game. Like, that game's got, like, 14-10 written all over it, man. Like,
shit game.
So he's the one guy. The other guy that I like, that if you look at his snap share percentage over the last few weeks, it's just continuing to go up and up and up and up, is Jonathan Taylor. There's a reason why everyone was drafting this guy in the first round before he got hurt. He's $6,400. He's now at the bell cow status, right? He's getting owned a little bit, but he's popping up in the optimals 25% of the time. So a quarter of the time he's showing up in the optimal lineup. It's just too much, and at only 14 to 15% ownership, it's an easy to me. That's a free square.
So that's the weird one that I'll contest. Like, I guess back to you is like he's still splitting carries with Zach Moss. They're dead even in carries. He might be playing more snaps.
Snap share has gone up. He played 63% of the snaps last week.
Okay, but what I'm saying is like Taylor had 12 carries last week and Moss had 11.
That's why he's not going to.
Hey guys, the craziest thing is last week everyone that owned Jonathan Taylor, because I had him in a few, he was stuck at like 97 yards.
He had one carry in the second half,
and it was like, dude, just get over 100 yards, and they just didn't give him the ball in the second half.
You're not seeing him as being major chalk, Jim?
No, he's at like 14-15% owned.
Okay. That was my biggest fear on him. If he's going to be like that, then for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like I would much rather play him at 6,400 than Saquon at 79. That's okay. You're saving like over $2,000, and you're going to get. I don't even care if he gets 60% of the carries. He's going to score more points than Saquon.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, we're just going to disagree on that. So that's fine.
That's fine.
Agree to disagree.
The guy I like down here in this range a lot, and it seems like people are like not gravitating towards him after the workload, and that's Gus the Bus. Like, dude, he's the only guy getting run in that offense, and he's the right price, right? He's sub 6K. He's getting like 17, 18, 20 touches a game here. Like, I know that was an outlier kind of 2 weeks ago, and he was popping 3 touchdowns in, but like that's their offense, right? It's either him or Lamar that's punching touchdowns in the red zone. So, you may not get that game. He only pops 1 in, and you get 12 points or something. But like, dude, 80 yards and 2 touchdowns at 5,900 is like very possible for this guy.
So, yeah, I think he's fine. I'm definitely going to have. I'll probably have him in like 10 to 12% of lineups. I won't be that far over the field, but at 5-6%, I think you got to play him against a Seattle team that is just not very good.
Yeah, that's my thoughts as well.
Joe, who you liking in here?
Man, running backs is tough this week. I gotta say, like, I like Kamara at the top, and then when I get down here to the mid range, like, I have interest in Jacobs this week. They actually had a run game going the other night. They actually started showing something like they showed last year. Same as the whole talk with Aiden O'Connell, right? It's just a whole new offense, whole new regime, whole new energy. You're gonna get that interim coach vibe that comes out. The players are gonna come out to a different level. So, like, Jacobs definitely has some interest for me, but everyone else in this range, I do really like the Aaron Jones call, Jim, just because, like, who the fuck is thinking about Aaron Jones right now? And it's such a shit game. I mean, that is where you win a GPP. So I wasn't really thinking about that. I was on Aaron Jones last week, and I'm glad you put it back on my radar, because that's definitely something I'm going to put some extra thought into this week.
Dude, I wish I would just find out he's healthy, though. Like, the guy's getting like
when you get a hamstring,
7 touches.
When you get a hamstring, you can't really come back from it.
And I hate AJ Dillon. That guy sucks.
He's terrible.
And
do you guys remember Brandon Jacobs for the Giants?
Yes.
That's AJ Dillon.
No. Brandon Jacobs is way better.
No, like the same looking runner. Like the same looking runner. Like, just very boring.
Dude, he can't get through the hole.
Yeah.
Except for Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs did have good short area bursts.
No, for sure. But the Giants were also kind of good in those years.
He could move a little bit.
Yeah, they're just big guys that just. But like Gus the Bus, Vinnie, I think Gus the Bus. I'm always on Gus the Bus. I like it. I'm sure I'll be attracted to Bijan a little bit this week. He's not getting the touches, but like 11 carries, 60 yards. It's like he's averaging 6 yards a carry. He wasn't involved in the pass game at all last week. And like I said, we were talking about this 2 weeks ago. There's gonna be a week where this dude just goes absolutely nuclear.
Well, what's going to happen is
he's better, but Arthur Smith just fucking sucks.
Well, what's going to have to happen is like he's going to only get like 12 touches. He's going to have to house like an 80-yarder, and he will. Mm-hmm. He's going to, but it's just
going to happen. But remember, guys, we're talking GPP here. We're not looking at floors. We're looking at ceilings, and Bijan's a ceiling player.
I don't mind him at that price.
I don't either, but he's going to be 20 to 22% owned.
Well, yeah, in that case, that's insane. And that's
because, guys, like in my GPP lineups, which I send everything GPP, right? like I lose a lot, but at the same time, I'm going for it. Right, I take chances. Yeah. Like I'm fucking sending it. Right, where like, I'm only playing ceiling players. I'm not playing floor players. I'm not just saying, "Oh, I want to get in the money." It's like, no, I'm trying to fucking take down a room.
Well, if you're playing
and
GPPs,
it's like you got to go with these guys.
You're playing it wrong.
Yep. So, but these are the guys, right? Like Bijan is that guy where he's gonna have an explosion week, so I'm gonna have a lineup built around that. Right. But so like Bijan, I definitely have interest in.
But like Jim said though, if he's going to be 20+%, I'll just play Gus Edwards for like 5%.
Agreed. No, agreed. And I love Gus. So for the last couple of seasons, I'm always been a Gus the Bus guy. So I really like Gus. And let's move down. Let's go below Zach Moss. So Foreman down.
Ramondre is getting a little bit of ownership. I talked to him. I get that Zeke is there. I'm playing Ramondre more for the fact that they're just running out of receivers. And he's going to just if he isn't on the field catching the ball this week, then like, okay, I'm just done for the rest of the year. Yeah. But like at 5,400, I think he may get more targets than 50% of the wide receivers on the slate this week. So that's why I'm in on him. I don't care that he's going to be 15-16% owned. That's a gamble I'm willing to take with him this week. I just think that's where we're gonna go. I don't need a ton from him. He's priced at where, like, honestly, if he gets me 18 to 20 and 4x, like I'm fine with that. But with the receiving upside, he's got the receiving upside to have the kind of game that like Kamara had last week. Mm-hmm. So that's going down a little bit. That's my guy for down here.
And I got no one else, man. I don't think anyone else down here for the most part can like keep you into GP, like keep you into a turning.
No,
go ahead.
Oh yeah, two guys. I like Darrell Henderson Jr. and the reason is because he's getting touches in the teens, and like you said, Jim, this is just a shit game. It's a shit game, and Darrell Henderson just might be the guy that gets the touchdowns this week, right? Like it's the writing's on the wall. Idea. It happened last year all the time with this dude. Like everyone forgets about Darrell Henderson, and there was a point he was up in like the 7K range because this dude was just a fucking touchdown vulture. So Darrell Henderson Jr.
I'm glad you brought him up because he's the classic guy that, like, if you're playing if you're looking at your flex spot, first off, right? Like maybe you don't feel comfortable playing Darrell Henderson in one of your two running back spots, but if you're looking at your flex spot, what other receiver around the $5,000 mark has the kind of upside that you think that Darrell Henderson has? Right? Mm-hmm. There's not a lot down there. I mean, Josh Downs is down there, but then like we're looking at Dotson, we're looking at AJ Dillon's 4,900, Josh Downs, Dameon Pierce who's splitting, TJ Hawkinson getting thrown the ball by Jaron Hall. I think he's a great option to go and run 3 running backs at a flex. So I don't hate that, Joe.
Hell yeah. And then the other one is Chuba Hubbard. Hubbard in the cupboard. Miles Sanders fucking sucks, and he's not even playing. Like, they're like, dude, you're done. Chuba Hubbard's on the field. He's the pass catching option. Carolina is always down. They get in these passing situations, and they want Chuba Hubbard in there. As an upside play, Chuba Hubbard in my Gardner Minshew stacks. I want Chuba Hubbard in there, but Darrell Henderson is my favorite out of these two down here in the 5K range. But if I'm stacking that game, Chuba Hubbard's the guy. If Miles Sanders is out, I'm sorry if you dropped him in best ball. I have him in a couple, but he's done.
I didn't know what was going to happen, so it's funny you mentioned that because I think I have Miles Sanders in I drafted 122 best balls. So, I think I have Miles Sanders in about 45, and I think I have Chuba in 40 of those 45 because he was just going like very late. So that's fine with me. But this week, I mean, I'm into Chuba right now. If his ownership stays around where it is it's right around 20% right now. If I see it start to go higher, I don't.
It's a little aggressive.
It makes sense because of all the things you just said, Joey.
Yeah.
So like it might be good chalk, right? Because if for $5,000, if you're going to get a Kamara-like performance, right, you're getting it for $3,000 less. Like you could do so much more with that money elsewhere, right? Yeah. And if he does go off, a lot of those lineups are probably going to have Chuba, right? So I don't hate the option of like just going Kamara and Chuba together, right? If you are going to play that, and then you could play that in your that I think that's a good way to then run a Minshew stack, because a lot of people aren't going to run Kamara and Chuba both together in a Minshew stack, I would think.
Yes,
but
exactly.
I don't know. That's just kind of how I was thinking about it, because I really like him too. I was just shocked when I saw his estimated.
Well, dude, but look, like Miles Sanders last year, right? Like he played a decent season with Philadelphia, but he's nowhere near what DeAndre Swift is doing, right? Swift is a massive improvement over Miles Sanders over there. Miles Sanders goes to Carolina and hasn't done anything, right? Like maybe he's just not that good of a player.
Yeah.
And Chuba Hubbard's going in there playing very well.
The only last guy to mention to keep an eye on if he does end up getting the start is Dameon Pierce is not practiced. And that means Devin Singletary at 4,300.
Talk about a fall off.
Be the bell cow guy in a game that I like quite a bit. So 4,300, it becomes kind of an interesting, free square in a sense. But
4X, baby.
Yeah, just keep an eye on that one. But
we need 4X lineup.
All right, wide receiver.
All right.
Who's your one guy, Joe? Who's your one guy 8,000 and up? I think I already know the answer, but I'll let
you guys. I mean, if you've been listening to the podcast, it's Devontae. The offense is going to go through him this week. He's going to get 15 catches. Like he might break a Raiders record for catches in a game. I think Aiden O'Connell is just going to fucking pummel him with it. So he's my favorite. Full set on Devontae. Mood change. The ball's going to go his way. He's been pissed off for 4 weeks straight. It's going to be a turnaround week. So especially against the Giants defense, that just not good.
You're talking 8K and up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the one guy that you're playing in those out of those four guys, your favorite play.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be so highly owned, but dude, I cannot go away from AJ Brown right now. Like the guy is
straight nuclear bomb, dude.
Dude, whenever they get into problems, it doesn't even matter if he's like got two guys on him. They just fire the ball up to him and he comes down with it. He looks like Terrell Owens right now.
Great.
Yeah, he looks like prime Terrell Owens.
He is nearly unstoppable. Unstoppable.
We talk about
like
good
the worst
chalk.
trade in like Titans history, right?
30% ownership is like, okay, it is what it is. So just gonna do it.
I've got him at 22 right now.
Okay.
So because
probably somewhere in the middle.
I mean, you can't play all these guys, right? So like you can't play both expensive running backs. You can't play both expensive wide receivers, but that's some of the reasons like I like that Mac Jones stack, because then you can play like Kamara and Brown in the same lineup together, right? Yeah. I mean, you could do some pretty wild shit when it comes down to that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the reason why I'm on that. My favorite guy, I kind of already said it, is going to be CD Lamb. Mm-hmm. I'm going right back to him.
Is he going to be like same ownership as Brown? Like most people are probably trying to do the same.
Yeah, 19 to 20. That's why, like, I think if you're going to play those guys and you really like those guys, you got to just play the whole game, right? Yeah. Like, you just got to go, Hurts, Brown, Goddard, and then run it back with, CD. And then you could put Pollard in there if you want to. I don't think you need to, but if you run those four players, you're still left with $4,000 in salary, and then you play a cheap defense, and then you're up to 4,500. So it's definitely doable.
I love this 7K range though, man.
All right, who's your guy? Who do you like in here?
Well, I mean, Adam Thielen has the second best matchup according to PFF this week because the Colts can't stop anybody.
I think that's the game to game stack.
I don't disagree. I think it's so clear. You just go Minshew, Pittman. Hell, you could go Downs too and bring it back with Thielen and just let it rip because the Colts play these weird, crazy games, dude.
Thielen and who?
Dude, don't forget,
team, dude. Don't forget
Chuba
Hubbard. Yes. If you're gonna play that game stack, that is where like an ownership thing, like not many people are gonna play that. So like if you're gonna do that, you have to prioritize getting Chuba in there, in my opinion. So like But I think like the more we talk about it, man,
that's what I was saying earlier. Like, as much as I love AJ Brown and I love CB, like there's other games that I think could just very easily outscore that game because we see it every week. We're just like, okay, well, yeah, there was 46 combined points in this Dallas game. And the Colts game went to 68. You know, it's like, what the hell? But it's like, you look, and it's every week they play in these games.
Because you've got bad teams, right?
Exactly. Well, you got Minshew.
You have Minshew just going bananas.
He throws for touchdowns or he puts the ball like in the red zone for the other team. Right. It's just a heavy touchdown game when you have Minshew.
I love that. Yep, exactly. So I love Thielen. I said it earlier. He's going to be really low owned, but I love Mike Evans.
Okay.
Jim, what's Devontae Smith coming in ownership wise?
Nothing. 6%.
So like as much as I love AJ Brown, I'll probably play more Devontae Smith this week. I'm just gonna attack go for it this week. And if I'm gonna play that Dallas game, like I love Devontae Smith. I know I just said AJ Brown's amazing. It's Terrell Owens out there, but it's like you want to take down the GPP.
I think it's a Mike Evans nuclear game, like you said, then.
But you can play Devontae Smith and
that's my favorite guy in the 7K here. Devontae, it's just interesting. I mean,
he went for
AJ Brown just takes over games, and when he does,
I get it.
You know, Devontae goes bye-bye.
So my favorite guy in this range, I mean, I think it's just looking at it. I think it's Pittman, right? Yeah. I mean, I think that we were just kind of talking about that. Olave is somebody that's interesting to me, but he's creeping up towards an ownership that just makes him an easy fade.
Yeah.
I've got a guy that I'm going back to, though, that I haven't played in a couple of weeks, who's playing a really shit bomb team. That's Amari Cooper. His price has gone back down. I didn't play him last week, and I was kind of regretting it a little bit, but it didn't kill me. I'm going right back to him. He's playing the Cardinals. It's $6,000. He's 9% owned. He's showing up in the optimals 19% of the time. You don't have to stack. That might be the only person from that game that I play.
I just really wish they would ruled Deshaun out, because like him going in and out just like ruins that offense.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean,
you know what I mean? No, like just the entire flow and like it's just a fucking weird situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great situation there, but I'm going right back to Amari Cooper.
Okay. Going down.
Joe, do you guys have anybody in this like high fives, like low sixes range that you like? I've got another guy. I actually love this range.
Yeah, so do I.
I think it's a good time to go back to Zay Flowers. I played him last week. He kind of screwed a lot of people. It's a good time to go back again. Consolidated offense. I think Seattle's actually going to be this. They're going to make this a really frisky game. I think it's going to be a very close game, and it's going to make them throw the ball a little bit more. And I think Zay Flowers is going to be a big part of that game plan through screen passes. I think Seahawks are going to bring a lot of pressure this week. So I'm going right back to Zay.
Vinny, do you have anybody in this like high fives, like low sixes that is your favorite?
I mean, I keep talking about this Tampa Houston game. So yeah, I mean, I have a lot of interest in Nico and Tank Dell. Both of them I'll kind of balance out in terms of spread and everything. But I mean, I think I'm just going to continue playing Terry McLaurin because they just throw him the ball, and Patriots don't have anyone to play corner either. That's another weird game. I don't expect like many points there, but that's another just weird game, right?
So that is a weird game. My guy that I like in here, and people aren't playing him because he's got a Division II quarterback throwing the ball, is DJ Moore. He's all they got. Dude. I mean, and at like 4% ownership,
I know
at 5,900, so you could play DJ Moore. And I mean, what do we look for in fantasy? We look for the most opportunity that a player is going to get. We like the New Orleans game. We think it's going to be a shootout. Okay. Why would we not play DJ Moore? It's the same reason why I'm playing Amari Cooper, right? He's the number one leader in target share on that team by a large margin. And they're both down here at like right around 6,000. you don't have. There's guys that are priced a little bit cheaper than them that may only get like 2 or 3 targets, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I like Tank Dell too, but like, how many targets is Tank Dell actually going to get? We got 4 last week, right? Caught 3 of them for 18 yards. Like, okay, that's fine. But like, I know right away that DJ Moore is going to get at least 6 to 7 targets. I know right away Amari Cooper is going to get at least 6 to 7 targets, and they're probably going to be high percentage red zone targets if they get down there, right? So like, that's kind of more my reasoning. And if we're talking about GPPs, these are guys that nobody's playing.
I think that's fair. I think it's much. I mean, I personally think the Saints just absolutely just run them out of the dome down there. Like, I just don't think this one's close. I think they
Saints
actually
aren't that good.
They're not, but they actually have like a defense that has somewhat of a brain. And
it's not better. It's not better than the Chargers.
Okay, well, the Chargers just beat the shit out of them. So like, that game wasn't even close. So I just think like, okay, well, what are the Saints going to do? I get it, the NFL week to week and all that, but like, I agree. If you're playing anybody on that or you're bring back, like, for sure, it's DJ Moore, 100%. I'm just saying, like, the Bears are so gross.
Yeah, no, and let's start going down a little bit. Under 5K. Brandon Cooks helped me get to my 4X lineup last week. He has 2 touchdowns in his last 2 games. He's actually starting to get back involved in the offense. If you guys look at recent history of Brandon Cooks, wherever he goes, the dude scores touchdowns.
That's gonna be another guy. He's probably like not any ownership on him, huh, Jim?
And his price went down. He was 4,600 last week. He scored 15 points. Now he's 4,400. Not that that's a big difference, but like, his price actually went down. But he's that ultimate guy to get 3 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown to get you to that 3X, 4X range. And this is a game you guys were talking about that can get frisky and a lot of points get put up. You like Dak Prescott. If you want to get away from possibly getting weird and get away from CeeDee Lamb, throw Brandon Cooks in there. And again, 2 touchdowns in his last 2 games. He's starting to get involved, right?
So
and
I wouldn't
just does this everywhere he goes.
I wouldn't advise taking CeeDee Lamb out. I would advise playing both of them if you like Brandon Cooks that much, because not a lot of people are going to do that, right? So that I definitely wouldn't take CeeDee Lamb out. I would add Cooks to that stack and then go from there.
How pissed are people going to be though if like you just play like a 2 one-offs from that game of Cooks and Devontae Smith, and those are the guys that could go ham.
Look,
it's like playing a showdown, right?
Well, it's just you can do that. People don't understand this. That's a mini stack.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, yeah.
But people aren't going to do that.
If you were going to go like Tampa Heat, or we like our Colts game, right? You go the Colts stack, and then you just mix in Devontae and Brandon Cooks there. Like, then you get your exposure to that game at super low ownership.
Absolutely, I love that.
So
I could do that all day.
Joe, you're not going back to Romeo for Green Bay? Romeo Dubes?
Hey, you know what's funny, guys? And I do apologize to our listeners. I ended up not playing one Packers player last week. When we did the podcast on Thursday, I was in on it. And by the time I got to Sunday morning, I
talked you.
I blasted every one of those lineups. I threw a full nuclear bomb into my phone, and I just took out every single Packers player. And thank God I did that. This Packers team is so well. On Thursday, I felt different. I felt different than I did on Sunday. And
just kidding.
This Packers team is so fucking bad, guys. Just stay away. They're so bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to take a few more shots on my dude, Rashid Shaheed, who helped me cash last week. I mean, 3 catches for 153 yards.
My thumb was twitching last week. I almost put him in a lineup, and I didn't.
He's just the ultimate GPP player where you're going to have 3 points or you may have 30. Like, I don't know, but like, I'm going to take some shots for sure on him.
Jim, are you back on the Van Jefferson train? Now that he's in Atlanta, Drake London.
He might be receiver 1 this week. He's
getting a lot of playtime. And Taylor Heineke, Bucks and Chucks, baby.
If Drake London does not play, I will absolutely be playing Van Jefferson. I think you kind of have to.
What about our boy Mac Daddy?
He just sucks, dude. Like,
he'll be a starting receiver again this week. Him and Van Jefferson. Can you believe that? By the way, an NFL team is going to start Van Jefferson and Mac Hollins this week.
They still probably win.
Not that bad. Van Jefferson's not that bad. Now, Van Jefferson's better than two of the guys that are starting for the Titans tonight. So, I mean, Nick
Van
Westbrook,
All right,
Akeem.
I got to add him to the plate. I just didn't have
Hey, guys, Jake Bobo.
Jim laughed at me last week. Jim laughed at me when I said his name last week, and
you didn't play him though because you're a pussy.
No, I didn't.
Exactly.
I mentioned him.
That's great. You didn't play him. I'm playing. Now that Danny Dimes is back in, I think playing Wan'Dale Robinson is more than fine. If you guys, we're talking about the quick passes, getting it out quick. If you really think he's going to be under that much duress at 3,500, people were all on Wan'Dale last week, and he burned everybody at like 23% ownership.
That will happen when you have minus 8 yards passing as a team.
Dude,
you believe that?
We're digressing so hard right now.
So hold on. I have a guy down here that I don't know if you guys even know exists. But Trey Palmer. Okay.
I love that guy.
No, that's Vinnie's guy.
They take deep shots to him constantly. And I mean, at 3,200, he could get like 1 or 2 points, or he could get 0. All he needs to do is catch one of these, right? And he's gonna be less than 1% owned. So I'm taking some shots on Trey Palmer this week because I think that game might get a little bit out of hand. And if it does get out of hand, he's going to keep playing the whole game as to where they might start resting guys like Godwin and Evans or whatever. I think he's great. He's a great guy that I'd like to play in a Baker stack because no one's going to play him, right? Like Evans could go off and then Baker could also throw like a 45-yard touchdown to this shit bag. And then everyone's like, whoa, fucking Trey Palmer. And then you could be sitting there like, hi.
I just want everyone to know that Scotty Miller's alive. He scored a touchdown for the Falcons last week. I had no idea who's on the Falcons. I'm not playing him, but he's on the Falcons. And Jamison Crowder scored a touchdown last week and scored. He scored 22.5 points last week for the Redskins. And I thought this guy was out of the league.
It's because what's his face? Curtis Samuel got hurt.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel did not practice on Thursday. If he doesn't play, James, I'm glad you brought him up because I was going to bring him up last, but I'm glad somebody else did. I'll be playing Jamison Crowder in every single lineup if Curtis Samuel doesn't play. Like I put him in 100% of lineups. I don't care.
I love that.
Yes, the ultimate slot receiver, dude.
Tight ends.
Yes, please move on. Please God. I mean, there's more guys like out there, but please.
I mean, I'm looking at the clock and what are we what are we doing down here?
Dallas
We're
Goedert.
just talking about Jameson Crowder.
Dallas Goedert for me is probably my favorite tight end. Again, I'm just looking for ways to get off the chalk, but still get on this game. So I don't know how highly owned he's going to be, but it's not going to be like AJ Brown. So
no, like 9-10%. That's fine.
So that's my favorite. And then, dare I say, he who shall not be named in fantasy on our podcast, our show, at 4,700. Are you doing it?
No, you're not going back to that.
You can't do that.
I can't do it.
All right, move down.
If he scores 22 points again, whatever.
So be it.
Can't do it. I can't do it.
Kyle Pitts has Taylor Heineke throwing the ball. Line me up.
Dude, you're going to be so triggered by Arthur Smith in the second quarter of that game.
That's fine.
I'm just telling you now, like, don't get mad at it. Like, we weren't.
No. Heineke is not going to listen to Arthur Smith. Heineke's going to do Heineke things. And this is why I'm going to love this game.
Yeah, Ritter's healthy.
I don't think he cares.
All right.
They benched Bijan for some weird reason.
Ritter's cleared, and he's still
he's going to be active. I know he's going to be active.
They go, oh, we don't trust his concussion, but we're still going to make him the backup quarterback. No. If you're worried about his concussion, you don't suit him up. No, he got benched. They're giving Heineke a shot.
You're talking about Taylor Heineke like he's the next coming of Christ, and he just is.
He is.
I like Ferguson as well, Joey's boy. Another part of that Dallas game.
Chaos players.
That's just going to be a little bit unique.
Trey McBride
Jim,
won
you
me some money
mentioned
last week.
Yeah, but so he won me a good amount of money, but like now the guy who keeps throwing him the ball is not there anymore. So I don't know what to expect.
That's fine.
Is Kyler playing this week?
No, I don't think so.
Not Clayton.
Wait, we're getting tuned?
Toontown, baby.
Dude, this
Toontown.
NFL week is going to be awesome.
This
that's what I'm saying.
Disaster. Jim, you talked about Hunter Henry. Like, what about Gesicki? Is like if you're gonna do it? No, okay.
No, I'm just going to play Hunter Henry. I know that he's going to get the passing volume.
Okay.
Gesicki could have like 2 or 3 catches for a touchdown, but it's going to be like 15 yards. Hunter Henry is dominating the snap share at tight end. So I like him. I think Cade Otton is a really underrated piece to that Bucs game. And if you are going to stack it, I'm either going to go with Palmer or Otton as the tertiary pieces to it. And I mean, now like he's just getting so much run that like you just kind of have to play him. I mean, he's not going to bust. I mean, he's going to have 7 to 8 points at minimum. At 3,000, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Telling you guys, gut feeling game.
Who?
No, I said that game's the gut feeling game.
100%.
Something weird's going to happen there.
The gut game.
And then if you guys need a cheap like min price, Daniel Bellinger for the Giants. You don't have to play Daniel Jones. I get it, but the Raiders constantly give up touchdowns to tight ends, and nothing has ever changed. That might be one of those things where like it's still not going to change until someone from the Davis family sells the team. They're always just going to be shit versus tight ends. So at 2,500 for somebody who's going to be on the field every single play, he should not be priced there, and it's just because the Waller news came out too late.
Cool.
I'm also fine with taking a shot on TJ Hawkinson. I really don't care who's throwing them the ball. I think that he's probably the safest play in that offense for this game, just because if it is Jaron Hall who plays the majority of the game, he doesn't have to throw the ball very far to get to TJ Hawkinson.
All right.
Defense. It's easy for me this week.
Yeah, me too.
And then you guys started off.
Well, it's going to piss you off, but I might just play 100% Giants.
Same here. I played almost.
Guys, my only emotion towards the Raider is sadness.
Yeah.
So to piss me off,
sorry, I didn't want to make you more sad. I think they score points. I just think the Giants will sack Aiden O'Connell. They'll probably pick them off. They'll probably, they're gonna get some points out of this for sure.
Raiders are a coin flip every week.
I played 80% Denver defense last week.
Yeah, so did I.
So if I'm going to do that,
scare me,
dude, my 4X lineup was fucking Denver last week. It was a great play.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, this matchup scares me.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with my philosophy of like, I'm just going to either pay all the way down, or if there's somebody I really like, I'll go up and pay up for them. I just don't, like I said, I don't think that the Saints defense is worth, $2,800 more than the Giants defense this week. You could make an argument for the Cleveland Browns going against Clayton Tune. That would be my only other argument. The very, very top or the very, very bottom are going to be the two defenses I'm looking at this week.
I just love Clayton Tune's name. Joe, anyone else?
It's not great. Bold calls.
I like the Rams. I like the Rams defense. The Packers are one of the worst teams I have seen.
The Rams defense sucks, Joey. I mean, I don't know if you realize
the Packers.
This.
They're going to make the Packers offense is going to make the Rams look like a good defense this week because Jordan Love is not the guy. Aaron Jones is not healthy. Watson's not the guy. Luke Musgraves is not the guy. Their offensive line is depleted. That entire offense was built around Aaron Rodgers, and he's not there anymore. And
well, you kind of like this game from a weirdness standpoint. So,
and if it's going to get weird, play the defense.
Yeah.
So
I just don't.
I really like the Rams.
Kind of a I just think that game's kind of a dud, personally. Like,
Yeah,
I'd rather pay up a little bit more for the Colts because, like, you just know weird stuff's gonna happen. It'll probably be a punt return or a punt block
then
for
you
a
pick the Panthers if you're going for that game because you just go
they're
against
just more
Minshew on the chaos, right? But
the Panthers are 3,500.
the Packers just suck. You're telling me the Packers are going to put up like points this week?
No,
I don't think they're going to do much of anything.
What I'm saying is, like, the Colts just play in those crazy ass games where like weird stuff happens, right? So like,
yes,
you want environments where you want the chaos theory, right? Like that's what you're looking for at defense.
I'm looking. I think the Rams have a less than 1% chance to get like 15 plus points. I think the Giants have a 10 to 15% chance to get 15 plus points. They're playing against a quarterback who's starting a second game. I mean, with a good defensive coordinator as well. Wink Martindale is a good defensive coordinator.
You want another cheap defense? The other one I have some interest in is Cardinals. Because if Deshaun Watson plays, he's probably throwing a pick, and that could go to the house. So,
fair enough. And the Cardinals actually play hard. So, okay, we've talked about defense for far too long.
Bold calls.
All right.
Bold calls.
Music.
You got to get a better drop. It's too short.
I love I played it for Nick and Brendan on the Bets podcast, and they were just flabbergasted. I just hit it.
Which one? Howard Dean or the aggressive one?
The aggressive one, dude.
Oh, sorry.
No, this is it.
This is it. All right. You maniac.
All right. Darrell Henderson Jr., 3 touchdown game.
Oh,
let's get bold, bitch.
I mean, that's bold because I don't know if there's going to be 3 total touchdowns in that game.
I almost swallowed my own tongue laughing there.
It's going to be Henderson.
I'm going to need a minute before I can. Okay.
Clip it.
Wow.
Okay.
Vinnie,
Confucius is about to post on Sunday about Darrell Henderson, so just be ready for that.
I wish Confucius would post more often.
Hey, don't spread Confucius too thin. He's limited, all right? Sundays is his day.
I got 2 here. I got 2.
Oh, okay.
I think we get 4 touchdowns from Derek Carr this week. 4.
Has he ever done that in his career?
I don't know. That's why it's bold. I think Derek Carr.
I don't think he's ever done that.
Derek Carr goes for 4, and then he's back to yelling at his teammates next week after they lose. And I think we see 70 points in that Indy game.
Wow.
70.
Okay.
Things are gonna go ham in that one.
No
people. Pittman nukes all the guys we like. Play them all.
All right. I'm going to say that Amari Cooper goes for 30 plus this week.
You're loving yourself some Amari.
I mean,
that's great.
It's going to happen. I mean,
right.
I had it wired with CeeDee Lamb last week. We hit that. I think CeeDee Lamb could get plus 30 or more this week as well, but everyone's kind of expecting that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if that's that bold.
So that's why I went with Cooper. Okay.
I like it. All right. I
just want to make sure everyone knows and remembers that I'm the one that posted on Sunday morning that Patrick Mahomes has the runs, and then I went full send on the Broncos defense, and look what happened. So just make sure to follow us on Twitter because we have some great takes on Sunday mornings, such as me breaking the news that Patrick Mahomes was shitting his pants before that game, and the Broncos put up like 26 points. So
even if they're possibly not true,
tune in for the hard hitting analysis on Sunday morning from Joey Props. All right, that does it.
So just make sure to follow, share, like, comment, anger, you name it. We're here.
We like it all.
Exactly. All right. Good luck, y'all.
All right, guys.